Hey everyone, welcome, welcome. We are going to work some hops today. We're going to work cannonball hop, frog hop, and pike hop. I like to group them together. They all have very similar qualities about them. We're going to really focus on three things today when we go into these hops. We're going to focus on the feet pushing off the ground. We're going to focus on the low belly pulling up and in. So if you've been in my classes before, we talk about a friendly little gut punch happening. And all that really means is that I want you to scoop your belly button up and in. So it's kind of like this friendly little gut punch coming in at you that literally lifts the low belly up and in. That lift in the pelvic floor is what we're looking for, working one of those bandhas down there, Uddiyana bandha. And then the third thing that we think about when we hop is our pelvis moving forward into space. And the pelvis has to have a forward motion into space. Otherwise, all your hop is going to do is go up and down, and it's never going to come forward. So we'll talk about all those three things today. Quick 10-minute video will get you on your way, okay? I want you to start in a seated position, any seated position you prefer. I want you to bring your hands into your lap, palms to face up to receive a little bit of energy that you got going in the room, and I want you to close your eyes down. So I want you, even just with this short 10-minute practice, I want you to give yourself a few moments at the beginning here to drop into the space. I want you to let your shoulder blades draw down the back, let your heart space lift. I want you to find that sweet cadence of breath that emulates the sound of the ocean. So you take your inhales deep and strong all the way up the spine, and you exhale with a slightly constricted throat, that audible exhale that releases everything out of the body. Just a couple more. Find the breath. And then flutter the eyes open. So ideally, this hopping sequence is towards the end of your vinyasa practice. So the idea is that you have warmed up the hips a little bit, warmed up the shoulders, really gotten that strong cadence of breath so that this sequence can just kind of slip in right at the end since the body has been prepped. Okay, so I want you to start after your vinyasa sequence in a downward facing dog for our cannonball hop, our first hop here. So in downward facing dog, plant the hands firmly, press down through all 10 finger pads, take those index fingers and parallel them. Draw the triceps into the midline and the shoulder blades down the back so that neck space frees up. And then I want you to bring your big toes to touch. I want you to look up at your thumbs, but I want you to bounce a little bounce here. So just a little bit of heat in the legs, a little bit of movement in the body and the spine here. Again, we're going to think about pushing off the ground, scooping the low belly up and in, and that sacrum moving forward into space. Here we go. Rise the balls of the feet on the inhale, bend the knees at the end of the exhale, little hop up, little hop down, little hop up, little hop down. So I want you to keep the bounce on the landing so that we don't compromise the knees and the hips. You want to land very buoyant, very soft, very intentional, so that you don't land with those straight legs and hurt your hips and your knees. So if you're new to that cannonball hop, you're going to keep those big toes to touch. You're just going to keep hopping up and down, up and down. If you're not new, bring those big toes to touch, look up at the hands, take an inhale, and at the end of the exhale, hips are going to stack over the shoulders, light land. Again, light land. And then one more time into the exhale, light land. Drop the knees. Whew. Give yourself a moment. Then I want you to find a little bit of movement in Malasana squat to prep us for the second hop, which is frog hop. So I just want you to take the hips, open them up, and dance a little dance. So again, the idea is that you would have done some warriors already, maybe some standing balancing postures to really get the opening in the hips. Right now we're just gonna touch a little bit on Malasana squat. So when I teach frog pose, I like to teach frog at the bottom half of the body and down dog at the front half of the body. And I'll show you why. We're gonna hop frog to frog. Sometimes it's a little bit easier for the brain to kind of catch that. So we're gonna check it out. Plant the hands just like we had on the first one. Bring the heels together and bend your knees. So I'm frog in the bottom half of my body, but I'm still down dog in the top half. Triceps in, shoulder blades down. Lift your booty, look up in between your thumbs. So you're gonna bounce a little bounce, little hop up, light land, up, light land, light land. Now make sure that the knees stay in this open position. This hop is different than cannonball because in cannonball we were internally rotated and the knees were together. In frog, our hips are externally rotated and the knees are apart. So just make sure that you distinguish between the two. So if you're new to this, again, you're gonna stay pretty low to the ground. You're gonna land pretty light, pretty buoyant. If you're not new, look in between those thumbs and exhale. Light land. Light land. One more. Light land. Nice work. Drop your knees. Give yourself a moment. Tell yourself thank you. So on this third hop, last hop, we're gonna work pike, which sometimes takes a time or two for the brain to click over because in this one the knees aren't bent. In this one the legs are straight when the feet push off the ground, which is a little different than the first two. So sometimes it takes the body a moment to adjust. So we're gonna play with this one. Here we go. Plant the hands, same shoulders wrap in and down. Lift your hips up. So your big toes to touch, just like cannonball, how we started on the first one. Inhale, look in between your thumbs. Now this time on the exhale, knees bent, the legs go straight as soon as the feet leave the ground. Light land, okay? Again, exhale, legs straight. Light land. So you're gonna stay low to the ground if you're new to that. If you're not new to that, get your booty up there over your shoulders, okay? Think hips up. Light land. End of that exhale. Light land. One more big strong hop. Light land. Nice work. Roll your wrists out. You can take your wrists in the opposite direction if that feels good. You can take Padahastasana if you want to slide your hands underneath your feet in a forward fold. Make sure to take care of your body, especially those cranky old wrists after those types of hops, okay? If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I want you to pick your favorite hop. I want you to play with it. I want you to see how it feels. Give it a rest for a little while, come back to it, and then you can kind of take the other hops and incorporate them in when you're ready, okay? Namaste. Hopefully we will see each other soon. Have a good night.